Honks.
Home of the brave.
Honks.
Remain standing for the singing of the alma mater.
Oh, right on. Don't miss any words. No.
We will always stand by you, Cabrillo high conquistadors. We will be forever true. White and gold and black are shining, in our hearts the message binding. With our spirits we conquer all. Yes, our spirit can conquer all. Our school stands high upon a hill. We strive to win and win we will. Our goals and standards we hold high. Our faith in them will never die. Light of wisdom we see burning. For its knowledge we are yearning. Hail to you among martyr dear. We are with you, never fear.
Wow, yay! That's how it goes.
Thank you. The Cabrillo High School Vanderbilts are under the direction of Jennifer Peterson, a Cabrillo graduate.
Look at the camera, everybody. Hey, Coach. That was cool. Yeah.
Master of ceremonies this evening. Before we have dinner, we have a couple of things. One announcement. Michelle has let you know that there's a silent auction all around the room here, and I think it's good for another half hour or so. And all proceeds go toward the stadium improvement project, which you'll hear a little bit more about. At this time, we'd like to have a moment of silence for those who have left us this past year. And that includes Mr. John Gilday, Cabrillo teacher extraordinaire, and Miss Annie Sobieschek, Dan Troop's mother, who passed away just about a month ago. And I'm sure you all can think of some others. So just a quick moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce Susan Morrison, class of 79 and a 2023 Hall of Fame inductee, and she's the Cabrillo Alumni Association president.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Cabrillo High School Alumni Association, I'd like to welcome you all to this esteemed event and offer our congratulations to all the inductees here tonight. It's a great honor to have you all here with us, and I hope that those of you that are not members of the Alumni Association will consider joining. It's relatively painless, and we try to do some good things to give back to Cabrillo. So welcome to everyone, and we're glad to see you here tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
This event is co-sponsored by the Cabrillo Aquarium Club under the direction of Michelle Poquette and Boosters Club. And looking out into the crowd, I see quite a number of previous Hall of Fame inductees in attendance tonight. Would those Hall of Fame previous inductees please stand? And remain standing, please. I also see some folks from back in the 60s. If you were a teacher or a student when this school opened or during the 1960s, also please stand. We have some staff members who opened the school in 1965, and we have I think we have our principal here, don't we?
Yes. He's gonna wait.
There he is. Yeah, he was a real wild one, that one.
Okay. At this time, we have a few VIPs that we need to introduce. Lompoc Unified School District Superintendent, Dr. Clara Petry, and her husband, Greg Nance, are here. And Dr. Petry will say a few words.
There's even a railing. It's perfect. No, it's wonderful. Hi everyone, Dr. Clara Finneran. I just want to borrow about 90 seconds of your time. I'm tired. School starts Tuesday, in case you didn't know that. And when I left the district office about 25 minutes ago, there were still about 12 cars in the parking lot. And there are a lot of cars here, people working really hard to get ready for our students. But I wanted to share something with you. I love this event. I love coming to this event. It's one of my favorites, actually. And part of the reason is maybe I can tell it through a story. I'm a proud alumnus of the University of Notre Dame. It's where one of my degrees is from, and probably the one that means the most to me. I got my bachelor's degree in psychology and Spanish and theology. And I was back on campus about 10 years ago to help with something. And I walked onto campus with a small group of alums. And there was someone who we respected and admired quite a bit, a priest, was with us. And if you've ever been on Notre Dame's campus, or simply a beautiful university or college campus, it is a very, very special experience. And that place means a lot to me, partially because of what it did for me, but also because of who I became because of the experience I had there. So the symbolism of the buildings and the beauty of the campus means a lot. So I walk onto campus and this small group of people, and Father Scully is right next to me, and I said, "Man, Father Scully, I missed this place." And he turned to me and he said, "Nah, Clara, this place missed you." Oh, right? And that's what this event is about. Because the spirit of a place and the spirit and the soul of a place, well, sure, is in the beautiful buildings and the significance of those buildings, but it's really the people. And so I thank you tremendously for the meaning that you have given to Cabrillo High School. To all of you that helped put this on, thank you so much. Thank you, Ray, for always, where did he go? For reaching out to me, 9 months ago and saying, please put this on your calendar. And to Bob for your support, and to Susan, everyone for what you do to make this happen. But really to every single one of you for the meaning that you place on the spirit that is Cabrillo High School. I get it in more ways than you probably know, but I do. And I appreciate you for that contribution. And the reason I appreciate you for that spirit that you give is because of those kids that are back there. And there's some of you, I see some kids here, but because you make the place mean even more to them. And they're why we're here, right? There's about 1,000 kids that'll be here on Tuesday, and about 9,000 throughout the district. So I appreciate you for the significance and the spirit that you give to Cabrillo and the meaning that you give to our whole community. So thank you very much, and happy to be here with you all.
Thank you, Dr. Petry. Principal Brian Grindless is unable to be here this evening, representing the Cabrillo administration, I think. Please welcome Assistant Principals Barbara Corraine and Josephina Cabrillo. Right over here. Thank you, ladies. Cabrillo's Athletic Director and alumnus, Derek Wong, will say a few words.
Again, like what Claire said, glad for everybody to be here. I'm a 1985 degree grad. Actually, one of the inductees, George, and our classmates. I got to see him run. I got to see him set national records. I got to see the amazing full front and back 100-inch active that he had. But he was also a great basketball player, besides the track athlete. And a lot of my friends played basketball, so George was an amazing basketball player too. So to see him, I've gotten to work with. I did freshman baseball for a few years, and got to work with John Osborne. It was amazing. This is my third year as athletic director, so again, coming back to hopefully do a good job leading Cabrillo's athletes into the next century of things. Things are a lot different than when I played here. Now running the ship, social media is a big thing, and trying to tell kids that what you post gets to other athletes. And we get calls about it, so it's very different. Thankfully, we are far enough from reach. I haven't yet had to deal with the whole NIL, because we don't have enough money to pay our athletes for it. But we're doing well. We won a couple state championships in the last few years, with water polo winning 2 in the last 4 years. And we've moved to the central section, so we get to make the long drives over to the valley for playoff games now, instead of driving down to the southern section, which is good and bad. There's just nothing to see once you leave Paso until you get to Fresno. So it seems like it's a longer drive. Those of you in the LA area, we have our first football game on the 21st in 2 weeks, and we will be playing down at Burbank High School. So if you're in the LA area and want to see Cabrillo football play, we'll be at Burbank on the 21st for a 7 o'clock game. So we'd love to see you out there and see how the Black and Gold football team is doing. Really good run the last couple of years. So enjoy yourselves. Thank you, and I'll turn it back over to Bob.
Thank you, Derek. One last little chat before we eat dinner. You've heard about this for the last couple of years, but we are trying to get a football field on our campus and a track on our campus. Mr. Dan Duffy is going to say a few words about that project, our Cabrillo Stadium Improvement Project. And come on up, Dan.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. It's great to have you here again for this special occasion. As you see on your table in front of you, there is a flyer for the Cabrillo Stadium Improvement Project. This was a labor of love that was started a couple years ago. One of the members of the school board contacted Bob Lawrence and asked to put a committee together. He called me and a number of others, Kent Yankee, Derek Wong, a number of people that have big connections in the community. And so we started this project. The Cabrillo Stadium Improvement Project, we have the blessing of the school district. We have great support from our community, and we are trying to build a synthetic turf field striped for football, soccer, and an all-weather 7-lane track. We have not held a track meet on this campus in probably 8 to 10 years. Our track does not qualify as a cinder track. It doesn't qualify for competitions, so we can't have track meets. On bad weather, we can't have soccer games. We have to go down to, I don't know, what's that school called down there? That other school that's down there in the downtown area. So we're working on this. The project is a $4.5 $2.4 million total project. The district has blessed us with and told us they would go in for half. We are in the process of working with our community members and our alumni and any other corporate entity that we can find that helps us with this. The first blessing we got was a $500,000 matching grant from the San Ynez Band of Chumash Indians, who has a great footprint on all these communities, and they blessed us with that. So every donation we get up to that $500,000 will be matched by them. So that's a good start. So our mantra for the alumni, for the individual donations, is if 1,000 people can give $1,000, we get to $1 million. And that puts us halfway to our responsibility of $2.2 million. So there's a poster board on the back. You have your information on your table. And as I wrap this up, one of the members of one of our great community support groups, businesses, contacted me, and he is on the board. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's on the board. Cabrillo wrestler Chris Andrews. And as a board member, they have the opportunity to donate individually out of their community gifts. And I hold in my hand a $5,000 check from Chris Andrews. We have tremendous support in Coast Hills. Coast Hills has great footprints all over the Central Coast for all the things they do for our community. We have a couple board members from the Coast Hills here tonight. I'd like to ask them to stand up and be recognized. Thank you guys for your continued support. We are working on also seeking out a number of grant opportunities. We have a number of people who write grants and do it quite well. We have a student committee. We have a club on campus now, the Cabrillo Stadium Improvement Club. And we have board members. They select a president and a vice president every year. They go out and give our presentations. They are the ones, although I got to spend a lot of time on the computer typing grant information, they are the ones that took a PowerPoint presentation to the San Ynez Band of Chumash Indians and presented it 2 years ago, and they couldn't get us that $500,000 fast enough. They were so impressed with the students and their ability to do these things. It was a tremendous blessing. So if you have the ability to donate, we ask that you do. We have a Venmo capability. We have our own individual Venmo account that's available on a QR code in the back on that board. It's probably also on the paperwork that is here. And the biggest thing you can do is spread the word. If 10 people tell 10 more people that tell 10 more people, and your alumni connections from your years find that out, it turns into a tremendous, and I learned this word from Dick Shires and I love it, a tremendous geometric progression. And that will turn into a lot of money really quickly. I could tell stories about some of the donations we've already got, but we don't have enough time for that. This is about the tonight's inductees, and we want to get them honored. But anything you can do to help us, anything that can be done. Checks are available to be written to the Cabrillo High School Athletic Booster Club. Our money is held in the Booster Club account, in a sub-account, and if you do write a check for it, just write CSIP, Cabrillo Stadium Improvement Project, in the memo line, and that will ensure that it goes directly into our account. In a perfect world, and I think Bob feels the same way, if we can break ground on this before the end of this school year, it would be awesome. So, it's our turn, it's our time. It's time for that field to be ours. The heck with House Stadium.
Yeah.
I don't want to go there anymore, except once a year for the Lompoc Cabrillo game.
To win.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Right, go, brother.
Yeah, most of this crowd here probably still has a checkbook, and you write checks.
I got 6 debit cards.
But we just recently, through Brienne Jory, and the rest of our committee decided that we needed a Venmo account. So we have a Venmo account.
Yep.
For those people who don't have checkbooks anymore. We do have a couple members besides what Dan mentioned. Brianne Jory is a member of our committee. Brianne Jory, Ken Yankee, I see back there. Am I forgetting anybody? Susan, of course. Susan Morrison. Anyhow, this committee works hard. We've been working hard for a couple of years. And now it's dinner time. Michelle, what do we do?
Ready?
Hey, how are we going to do this? Great. Enjoy your dinner.
All right, that's Coach Lawrence kicking off the 2026. And there's the inductees right there. And we will hear them later throughout the night. Enjoy America in the World. This is Dan Petry Showcase. Peace, America in the world.
Ken and the aquarium folks. Thank you so much, students. Thank you, Michelle. And one other thank you that has to be made. This event is pretty special. We get to recognize some wonderful alumni, staff, and this wouldn't happen, and there aren't very many schools that do this. This wouldn't happen without Ray Moore. And of course, Ray did not want me to do that. To introduce our first inductee, please welcome Hank Moore, a member of the class of 1967 and a 2019 Hall of Fame member.
You know, many years ago, maybe like 61, I was with one of the first groups of students that ever walked on this campus. And when the superintendent said that there was a very good spirit, there really was. The person that started the spirit at Cabrillo is Mel Wiley. Mel, you know, they hired Mel, and he hired a staff that we had with the coaches and the staff that pointed us in the right direction. So all of us that began this school, we have Mel to thank for creating a dream here at Cabrillo High School for all of us. And it's wonderful. I was also a member of the first graduating class, that was a long time ago. And I was also a participant on the first 2 football teams. The second year was the first year we played Lompoc High School. Now, Lompoc was favored a great deal. We had a future Division I quarterback that was injured and out for the year. His backup was injured in a surfing incident. So you go into the biggest game of the Cabrillo career, and you're in trouble. So what do? And so the coaching staff opened a big can of Bob Arnett and told the offensive line and so on, we're going to run football. When you go into the gym, in the foyer, there's a trophy case. And in that case is a football. It's in a trophy. Because we ran the football so effectively, we ran like 200 yards against them, one of the Lompoc coaches, after we beat them, comes up to the bus. And he comes out and says, Bob Arnett. And he gave him the football. He says, you carried it all night, you might as well keep the damn thing. And because he's got a big heart, he made that into a trophy and donated it to Cabrillo High School. So when you go to the restroom or in the gym, in the foyer, you'll see that football. But if you also look at the picture behind it, the coaches had motivated the offensive line so much because they knew we had to run the football. And if you take a look at our linemen, and it shows Butch Leone and I think Rogers and some others, the Braves were on their backs. They were all getting pancaked. And if you take a look at that picture, it's awesome. And it was because of our coaching staff. You know, the coaching staff, I think, had to be very motivated as well. Not only were we injured, but all of a sudden the 2 principals decide the loser is going to push a peanut on Ocean Avenue with their nose. Now, if you can imagine being a coach and having your boss, I'm not pushing that peanut. So it was a very stressful time. But like I said, Bob ran football like you can't believe. He also ran track, so he's a multi-sport person. The very next year, I went to one college, he went to another. We happened to play each other. At the end of the game, we happened to upset him. But in the middle of the field, there was Bob, myself, Denny McKnight, and Dave Crocker. They were in one uniform, I was in another. But we weren't combatants, we were friends and teammates again. So it was really fun at the end of the game. During the spring, we, my college, held the track championships at our place. So I waited for Bob, and I was there all the time during the track meet that he wasn't in an event. I was there visiting with him. And he was the MVP of that day of the track meet. He had PRs right and left. I must have motivated him. And Bob's football career and track career ended, unfortunately, because of knee injuries. But he took that same thought and drive, immediately going into the next phase of life, which was business. And he went into the restaurant business. And he CO'd some of the best food places that my generation was going to. He also catered, one of his companies catered the White House. He also was in Texas, but I'm not going to cover what he did in Texas, because it had to do with the Cowboys or something. I was not a Cowboy fan because they kept us out of the Super Bowl. They beat us in the NFC Championship game. So I won't cover that part. But he always had drive and resilience.
I'm a Cowboy.
And he continued and always looked forward on what to do to help improve himself. And a lot of the things that he did, which I admired greatly. I admired Bob when I first met him as a student. And there were three people in my class that I really admired. One was Dale Willis, Mary Swan Lewis, and Bob. Now, all the young ladies in my class also really appreciated him. They thought he was the best looking one in our class. That's not why I admired him, trust me. But he just had a feeling of strength that you could depend on all the time. And he's here with his beautiful, wonderful wife, Sybil. And at this point, I would like to say thank you to my wife, Kathy. This event always happens on our anniversary. And this is our 51st anniversary. Wow. So now to introduce one of my high school heroes and teammates, Bob Arnett. Oh, I forgot to introduce him too. Sorry. I'm a senior.
Wow.
We're traveling, we have to take a look.
Yes.
Well, I don't know how to follow that. Incredible. I just want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for, and Hank for electing me to once a year, whatever the, I'm a Hall of Fame with Cabrillo, which is my favorite high school ever. But I'm just really thankful for my time here. I was surrounded by so much talent. We had some coaches and teachers that were just phenomenal. They kind of straightened me out. I kind of got in my time here, got interrupted. My dad got transferred to Malmstrom Air Force Base my junior year, so I wasn't here that year. But I was in Lompoc. I was in the junior high school on base, you know, where the old hospital school. I think Mr. Wiley was the principal back then there, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. all these old names. But when I came back to the Cabrillo, I just felt so good that I'm back here and back home. And I've had that feeling about this school ever since I left. I don't get back much. I live in Idaho now with my wife and all of our chickens and cats and dogs. But it's just beautiful to be back here, and I want to thank everybody. When I played football here, I had a backfield coach named Dave Long. Anybody know him? And if I didn't hear darn it, arn it, I had a good practice. But anyway, he's a great guy. All the coaches, Coach Osborne, Coach Jones, gave me such a huge chance when I came back. So I just want to let you know that I really appreciate this school, what it's done for me, what it's done for my life, and the motivation I've had to carry on my life. So, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bob. This Venmo thing really works. My watch just told me that we've had 2 $1,000 donations
Wow.
in the last 10 minutes. To introduce our next inductee, please welcome Terry Thompson Westbrook, a member of the class of 1969 and the 2018 Hall of Fame member. Terry is joining us tonight after traveling from Florida. Thank you all for the sacrifices you made to be.
I'm going to be a sissy and use the podium.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
I'm going to try and get through this without tears, so bear with me. Well, good evening, real friends and family. Our next inductee was everybody's sweetheart. How many of you guys, and be honest, how many of you guys would have wanted her on your arm for the prom or the winter formal or even homecoming? Raise your hands, be honest. Oh, nobody?
I was just a baby.
She had a smile that would light up the room. And she had a heart filled with love and care for humankind and for babies. And she was very smart and funny. I'm not going to reiterate what you can read about Christy Watkins in your program. What I am going to tell you about Christy is about the friend and classmate she was to us over the years. Christy was the head song leader in our senior year, 68-69, and I was the head cheerleader. We were in many honors classes together, and several of us moved from honors class to honors class to honors class together. We were kind of like a little family. Somehow, Christy and I got into some sort of turf war that year, for which I have great regrets. And the result was that we pretty much lost contact for many years, other than reunions. Fast forward to 9/11, a day that all of us will never forget. Maybe some of the young people don't know about it. I knew Christy was an American Airlines flight attendant, and I was so afraid she may have been on one of those planes. I reached out to her by email, checking to see if she was okay. She responded with a lengthy email that she was not on those planes. However, she had had breakfast with those crews that perished before their departures. Her flight was to be later in the day. She was devastated. Distraught that she was trapped in New York City and couldn't get home to her beloved gym and their golden retriever, she took a run down near the World Trade Center to see for herself. Knowing her, she probably stopped and helped people along the way. I could only imagine how she felt being a survivor of sorts while she lost so many of her American Airlines colleagues in the blink of an eye. Many years later, Barbara Herdman, here tonight, called me to see if we could arrange a big chill weekend at my home in San Luis Obispo. This is before I moved to Florida. With Christy and Betty Newhoff. Of course I said, sure, let's do it. And we did. It was so much fun, catching up, laughing at old memories, making new memories, but most of all, It was a time for Christy and I to mend our fences. We stood in my kitchen and talked about what it was that had gotten between us, and neither of us could come up with an answer. We had great laughs over that, and from then on, we were the old friends we had been so many years before. We made our peace. After I heard Christy was battling cancer, I started sending her cards and letters regularly. Letters of encouragement, cards of encouragement. As ill as she was, she would respond with a beautiful thank you note that I had just sent her a card. And she said how much those messages meant to her. When the thank yous stopped coming, I knew why. We lost a beautiful soul who gave her heart to her family, Cabrillo, American Airlines, her church, and many other organizations along the way. As a fellow Golden Retriever mom, I know how much she loved her Goldies and worked with a variety of therapy organizations to help people in need. We watched her memorial service on YouTube, and it truly reflected the woman she was to her God, her family, and the world. It is indeed my honor to induct Christy Watkins into the Cabrillo High School Hall of Fame class of 2026. Sorry. Please join me in welcoming Jim Watkins, her brother, who will accept Christy's Hall of Fame award on her behalf.
Did you know her, Christy? This is before your time.
I'm not Christy, unfortunately. But I wanted to thank all of you here tonight, the Alumni Association, and as everybody already has, Ray Moore for, I don't know if I could have got through this, all the forms and the timelines and everything else. So Ray, thank you for that. When I first considered nominating Christy for the Hall of Fame, I was thinking, like sports figures. Hall of Fame, you're usually nominated and inducted based on your statistics and your accomplishments during your career in whatever that sport was. So I started filling out the forms, a lot more than I thought, and then I looked at the list, past inductees and the ones here tonight, and I saw doctors and lawyers and military commanders and educators and pro athletes, and I started thinking, I'm not sure Christy fits here. Don't get me wrong, she had a wonderful life, very fulfilling. She got to fly all over the world. By the way, on that 9/11 night, we were all very worried about her, and she was stuck for like a week. At any rate, she raised those therapy dogs, which was wonderful, so many different charitable events and things like that. But her Cabrillo legacy really was her 4 years here at Cabrillo. She loved that time. The activities and events that she was involved with, the accomplishments she had, and her friends. She stayed in touch with those friends for over 50 years. So I'd like to think that she made an impact in the early years here at Cabrillo. And I believe, and I know she would agree with me, that Cabrillo made a huge impact on her life. And that's what a high school should do. Thank you.
Thank you. To introduce our next inductee, please welcome Denise Regal, a member of the class of 1970 and a 2023 Hall of Fame member.
Would you like to hear me up here? So that's a hard one to follow. Goodness. So I am introducing Christy Watkins. I'm sorry. Other Christy Stoll. She is one of the two long-lasting friends that I have from junior high all the way until today. And we didn't hang out a lot. We've known each other and teased each other and had forever. And since then, each of us, we've gotten close, and we got together because of the reunions and working together. And it's been really great because over the years we've gotten closer and closer. So, and that all started from her teasing me in junior high school. And I love it. She still teases everybody. So we also worked together on the reunions, and we combined the first 6 years. We got a committee going, and we're all doing our reunions every 3 years. She was always our MC, and oh my God, can that woman talk with a microphone? So she never speaks about herself, but she's good at talking about everyone else and in front of a crowd. And tonight, she's going to be on the spot because it's going to be about her. So I'm going to let her tell her story, but it's a long, geez, we've been around a long time friendship that I really love. Christy, come on down. First, I'd like to point out, Christy Watkins is a big deal and a huge thing to have to follow. The guys, they all liked her. The girls all wanted to be her, and the teachers thought she was great, and she was. So it's tough to follow her. So, Mr. Layton would be so upset. I made a list. I promised that I would behave. So I would like to thank the committee for nominating me. It's an honor. Truly reckless optimism involved in assuming, trusted with a microphone, bold move, courageous, I respect it. So I'm grateful for the people who shaped me, who tolerated me, for the teachers who wouldn't give up on me, even when I gave them every chance to reconsider their life choices. I'm also grateful for the ones who didn't adore me, they will remain nameless, because they, along with my family, toughened me up just enough to pack my bags a week after graduation and launch myself into the great wild unknown of Orange County. And if anyone knows Orange County, it's not wild. But it was a big town for me. So I learned by trial, error, stubbornness, occasionally a miracle, that succeeding at moments when I was absolutely the least likely candidate, and without going to college except for the fun classes, so I do count that I went to college for the fun classes, but I didn't graduate and I didn't attend 4 years. I don't even think I attended a year. But I have this determination that I was given, and one of those things was, I was our commissioner of assemblies. When I would go out for the football team or the basketball team or whoever, the first thing that would happen is I would hear bird calls from the stands, because my nickname, lovingly given to me, I'm sure, was Bird Legs. So no other commissioners have that, to have it's their crown thing. So Cabrillo gave me lifelong friends. They showed up for the bad times, the good times, and when the life knocks the wind out of you. They were there through Harry's life challenges, his health, especially in the last 10 years. Their support was everything. Even though we were all scattered across the country, I would have calls of encouragement, notes, letters, emails, things on Facebook, whatever. They really bolstered me, my courage. And I especially want to thank my freckle sister, Denise. She came down to San Diego days before Harry passed and did everything I couldn't. She made sure I ate. She handled the impossible tasks, stood beside me in a moment when standing felt optional. I couldn't have gone through it without her. She took pictures of the flag draped ceremony when they left the house, because I couldn't be in the same room. And if she hadn't done that, I wouldn't have had those moments. So for Denise, I'm entirely, for the rest of my life, thankful. You just couldn't do enough, and I have to acknowledge that publicly because you deserve it. I'm grateful for the 50 years I have with Harry, who would have been really proud tonight and might have said, "Watch what you say."
No, definitely.
He attended many of my reunions, just our class reunions. I spoke out a little bit more than I did at the group ones because I knew who I could get away with giving a hard time. But I thank you for this moment. Thank you for letting me be who I am, bossy, chaotic, grateful, still trying to figure out how I ended up in a Hall of Fame, this one, and I promise I'll use this Hall of Fame status wisely, but with a little flair. So thank you.
Thank you, Christine. To introduce our next two candidates, Coach Steve Haskins, a Hall of Fame member.
I'm going to stand up here because I'm a little bit short, and down there you probably can't see me in the back, so I'm going to stand up here and talk. Every once in a while, you run into some people that you can't forget. And as a teacher, I've run into many people, but this guy is one of the guys that I met and I can't forget, because he was one of the people who would come to practice, work hard, not say anything, and a true leader. And I didn't know the kind of a life he had at his point in high school, but afterwards I found out there should be a movie made of this guy. He has led a wonderful life. He led by example. He played hard. On the varsity level, he became an all-league lineman, an all-CF lineman. He was a captain of the varsity team. He was the captain of the North County All-Star team and most inspirational player in the North County All-Star game. After graduation, he went on to be involved in the Veterans Society. He worked diligently with the veterans, and for 37 years, at the age of 37 years, he began law school. That is something to believe in. He believed in himself. He started working in the Public Defender's Office, advocated sexually exploited children, and in 2025 he co-founded the Codman Freedom Endowment Fund, providing lifelong support for victims of sexual assault, earning him the Pillar of Freedom Award for his unwavering commitment to protecting children. It is my pleasure to introduce Rod Johnson Codman.
What a great meal. Thank you very much for the great food and the service that we received. Thank you. There's a bio of me in this program. My classmate Kay wrote most of it. Kay's the one who nominated me. Kay's on this wall herself. Is generous. It lists what I've done. But a list of what a man did never explains how he got to do it. So tonight, in the Cabrillo cafeteria, no less, let me give you the part that it can't hold. The people. Coach Haskins. Coach Haskins. Coach Haskins, thank you. I didn't know if you knew the drowning that I was going on at the time that you were my coach. You were good to me anyway. The way this whole place was, before it ever had to be. Before foster care and Air Force family, First Sergeant Cale, Vietnam veteran and his wife, took me in when they had no reason to. That's why I fought for veterans ever since. The Thompsons fed me the one meal I ate most days after I went to foster care. After I landed in the shelter care home, Jim Thompson brought me to his house. And his mother, Mrs. Thompson, asked me if I needed anything. For the first time in my life, I said out loud, I'm hungry.
She ran inside and came back with seedless green grapes, still glistening in the sun with the water that she had used to rinse them as rapidly as she could. She cried. I'd never seen her cry before. And tonight, they're honoring me in a cafeteria. The one room in this school built so a kid never goes hungry. Right here. I noticed. Of course I noticed. My best friend Gary Dempsey's mother, Janice, a single mother of 3, mid-divorce, became my foster mother when she had nothing to spare. Gary became my brother and is to this day. And his little brother Paul was 3 years old. Too young to know my story, he just decided I was his brother. I'm sitting there in his kitchen, eating breakfast with his 3-year-old. 50 years later, Paul, 50 years later, Gary, that's what grace looks like when it lasts. Everything I learned a few hundred feet from where you're sitting, out on those football fields, from these men. Coach Weber, take him to the toilet. Never quit on a case, never quit on a veteran, never quit on a kid that's been sexually exploited. Coach Radford, ask for help. Don't be afraid. Half my career was knowing when I couldn't do it on my own. Coach Long, you control your effort. Never let them outwork you. I said those exact words, Coach, in my last interview, and I got the job. Your words that you taught me. One job, 200 applicants. Coach Knowles, Wendy, thank you for being here. Coach should be sitting next to you. Coach Ed Knowles. I was fortunate to have both of Knowles coaching and play important parts in my life. Coach Knowles was my father when I had him. Thrown out of the spring game my junior year, ashamed, because you didn't get thrown out of games at Cabrillo. I hid on the far sideline as Coach Max sent me to the sideline. Coach Knowles gave me a few moments, walked down all the way to where I was at, because I was as far away from Coach Knowles as I could get, because I was ashamed and embarrassed. In his own Coach Knowles way, he said quietly to me, "You're not helping your team or anyone here." He didn't raise his voice. He lowered his voice. As most of you know, Coach Knowles has been gone for several years now. And a grown man still cries over that minute. He taught me, you stay in the game or people suffer. I never left it, Coach. Every locker facility I walked into, that was you. When I swore I wasn't going to go to college, Counselor Sally Hammond quietly found the money and sent me on my way. But for what Counselor Hammond did, law school and everything, she started that. And I'm sorry that she's not with us anymore. So when people credit me, the veterans, the exploited children, the girl who told her therapist that I was the first man that she had ever trusted, that isn't me. That's you. You. You raised me through your actions. I just passed it on. And Linda, my wife, you walked every mile of this with me. You paid for it in the nights I came home with nothing left to give, and you never once asked me to stop. There's no version of me without you. You are my everything. You are my infinity. Some of the people who saved my life are here, and they worked here. Some never did. But I found every one of them because of this school. Your program lists what I did here. Here's the only list that ever mattered. Cabrillo, coaches, counselors, teachers, foster family, brothers, friends, and wife. You gave me when you didn't have to. I never forget what that felt like, as you can tell. And I've spent my adult life making sure kids and veterans feel that too. Thank you all.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next person. George Porter, class of 1985. We've had a lot of great athletes in Cabrillo. We can name them all. But someone who has to be at the top of the list. And I think George Porter's got to be there. I got one agreement. I knew he was a great athlete. I could see him walking around campus. I saw him play football his freshman year. And so me, being a coach, I thought I'd go down and talk to George and get him to play some football for me at the JV level. Big, wide, tall, wide receiver. We had a great little quarterback who throw the ball. All you had to do was run down the field and catch the ball. I said, George, I want you to play football. Coach, I'm under a different agenda. I said, what? I said, being a coach, you know, everybody wants to play football, I thought. So I said, George, I want you to play football. There's no coach, I got another agenda. I got basketball, I got track. I go, okay, that's good. Okay. So, in my infinite wisdom, I thought that I could maybe trick him into playing football. So I said, George, I really need a stat guy. All your buddies are on the team. Why don't you come out and be a stat guy for me? We need stats. He goes, okay, coach. And I thought I'd get him out there. He'd see how much fun it is, and he would want to join the football team. Well, first game went by. George, you want to play football? No, I got a different agenda. I got basketball and track. Okay, second game, third game, finally fifth game, I just gave up. Okay? It turned out pretty good for him. Not so good for me, because I would have loved to coach this guy. After he left during high school, he set the 300 intermediate hurdles record that stood for 24 years. Okay? State record and national record. After high school, basketball in high school, he went on to college at that one college that plays UCLA. USC. That's right. Played in college. He won 2 Pac-10 championships in the 400 hurdles. Placed third in the NCAA championship as a junior. Ranked number 1 in the NCAA in the 400 hurdles. I could go on and on. You can read it, okay? It's too long for me to read up here. Okay, what I want to get to is he's an athlete, but also an entrepreneur. He got into the business world and attacked it the same way he did the hurdles. He earned an administrative degree in public administration, and he went on to become best of the best sales executives. He broke records during a career in athletics. He also formed a musical group, which I did not know, okay? And he has worked with the likes of Keenan West, Gwen Stefani, and Jennifer Lopez. Whoa. Those are pretty high-powered people. I can't say their names, but that's okay. George and his beautiful wife, Kim, headed SC, and they have been married for over 30 years. They have 3 children, Grant, Gordon, and Kendi. You can tell I was a football coach. Who are now adults and have earned scholarships at D1 college football programs. Without messing up anymore, I want to introduce George Porter. Could you stay down here for a minute, George? I feel better.
Thank you, Coach Hanson. Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right.
Well, thank you all for this wonderful award and the kind words. And it's great to be home. It's been about 20 years since I've had the opportunity to come back home. And as soon as I stepped foot on it, I thought to myself, this is home. And you all are all a part of where I come from. The fabric that's laid inside of me. I see so many faces. Good to see ex-principal Mr. Wildy in the house, who was a wonderful supporter, wonderful administrator here. Coach Haskins along. I see so many faces. Let me name it. Please excuse me. But all the people were so very positive and impactful in my life here as a student athlete. As he mentioned, I was blessed to not only become a world-class athlete, but a world-class businessman. And that was something that was big on my agenda, as he talked about, in my life's travel. It all started here. And in that being said, I want to say this. First of all, thank you to my family and friends that came, and my beautiful wife, Kim Porter, who's here to support me. I've been married her 30 years, and that's one of the blessings that God's given me, that some may have a little bit to do with it, but you know what, you get angels sometimes in life as well. I grew up in a place that God blessed me to be at. That's right here. I always say, I pinch myself sometimes and I say, wow, man. I worked hard and I really pushed to be successful in everything I did, but I was given some pretty good cards. So I had no excuses but to try to be great and be very successful coming from a place like this. And I want to say that, God's been good to me more than I could ever be. And that is so true in my life. A couple things I want to talk about real quickly, if you don't mind me sharing with you, is I've been blessed not only to accomplish a lot myself, but one of the things I like to brag about, if I can brag, is I've had the blessing of competing against, being friends with, going head-to-head with some of the greatest track athletes that ever walked the earth. Names like Carl Lewis, Edward Moses, Butch Reynolds, Jackie Joyner Kersey, I mean, the list goes on. Michael Johnson. I ran with Michael Johnson at the Road University Games in 1989, and we were silver medalists together. I called them Gold Shoes. Y'all might remember that back in the day. But I came from this place here, and I'll tell you something. We were kind of counted out coming from a place like this when compared to Los Angeles and some of the bigger places. Lumpo's kind of caught in the middle, either Northern California or Southern California. And as much as I had a lot of confidence, you had a little chip on your shoulder a little bit. You had something to prove coming from a place like this compared to other places. People overlooked you, underestimated you, and didn't think you could do it. And so I remember training to try to eventually win a state championship and a national record. I remember running past parties on Friday and Saturday night, 30, 40-minute runs, and they laugh at me, so many Walkman earphones on. They don't make those anymore. Show how old I am, right? But I train athletes now, as a company owner of a company called D1 Speed Training, and God has blessed me to pass along a lot of my success and experiences and share them with young people that maybe wouldn't get scholarships, and I'm able to help train them and prep them and groom them to become and experience what I experienced as a scholarship athlete, to go on and get an education and monetize their athleticism and academics. And I had to give them that background about how I kind of was a missing person coming from a place like this. Because, people say, you went to Lombok? Where is that? Lombok? But the beauty of it was it showed me very early in life, it's not where you're at or where you're from, it's where you're going. It's what matters the most, right? And where you're at has a lot to do with, many times, where you have the opportunity to go. And this place gave me a lot of love, a lot of confidence, and didn't feel limited in any kind of way. I tell people I grew up in a fairy tale place you all should be proud of. I've been around the world a couple times. I've had 1,000 people screaming. In Germany, they don't say USA, they say USI in lane 3, right? Okay. And, I tell people I grew up in a fairy tale place. What kind of place is that? Well, everybody kind of has the same house, same car, kind of easy going. Everybody kind of likes each other. What kind of place is that? That's where I come from. And you should feel good about where you come from as well. And I want to leave one note. A very special person that came in my life is Coach Davis, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame last year. This gentleman was, whether you know or not, is probably one of the best high school coaches in track and field we've ever had in California in particular. I came along, he already had a hurdle that was running 36 seconds, which is an amazing time in high school. He was my mentor. I don't know if you heard of a name called Edwin Moses. He was a gentleman who was 100 wins in the 400 hurdles. My idol at the time in high school. Kind of compared Kobe to Michael. It was kind of George Porter to Moses. If you ever Google my name, you'll see two names, Edwin Moses and George Porter. And the great Edwin Moses was known for taking 13 steps over 10 hurdles. George Porter was the first person, with the help of Coach Davis, to ever run 8 hurdles for 13 steps, to be a frontier in track and field history. And it started right here with the gentleman named Coach Davis. He was ahead of his time, and was an extraordinary motivator, extraordinary genius in how we diagram what we're trying to accomplish. He said, George, I'm going to be done in a second. First year I go out, I'm running 100 meters, I'm getting whipped up. 200 meters, getting whipped up. High jump, yeah, still not that good. He says, hey, Porter, kind of tall. This guy named Edwin Moses, he's pretty tall, like you. Why don't you try the hurdles? Well, not only did I break a record, Edwin Moses never ran that fast. There's never been an Olympian that's ever ran fast in that time I had for 22 years in the 300 hurdles. And Coach Davis was a huge, integral part of that. I was blessed to have another blessing angel in my life, and that was Coach Davis. And so, ending, I'll say this. Here I was watching this gentleman named Edwin Moses, and then one night in Tucson, called the Tucson Elite Meet, here he was in lane 5, and I was in lane 7, and I was 20 years old. He was, 3-time gold medalist. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. This guy, I've been mimicking everything, running Kobe and Michael, right? And gun goes off, Moses takes off like a bat of hell. It's like, no, I don't go with him. It's not 300 hurdles yours, it's a longer race. You can't, I didn't have that condition yet. Long story, where I ended is, I ran against Trinell Hawkins, who was the bronze medalist, and the gold medalist was Moses, and I'm little George Porter from Lombok, California, lane 7. Okay. Gun goes off, Moses is out, bat of hell, about 8 yards ahead. Tall gentleman named Trinell Hawkins was the bronze medalist, was beating me by about 4 yards. Coach gave me a couple of little things that I need to do to change my race and pattern. And he said, keep your arms tight, George. Shorten up a little bit. Just bring it home like that. Anyway, Moses wins, Hawkins is about here. We get to the tape, and in the end, I walked down to the Hawkins. It was the bronze medalist in 1984, second to the gold medalist, one of the greatest hurdlers ever to live, is Matt Moses. Thank you for this wonderful award. Thank you for being all a part of what I've become. And God has given me an assignment to try to pass along the legacy of Coach Davis, the success that George Porter's had. Because he doesn't bless you a lot of times for you. He gives you the blessing that you'll bless others. He's been so good to me, more than I ever could be. And I just want to say thank you for being good to me as well tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, George. I Googled George Porter before we came here this evening, and I watched his 300-meter, I believe it was the CIF championship race, that he won by about 10 meters at the CIF championship race. Another quick story about George. 3 years ago, the Heidmas family, you guys all remember Walt and Jeff and Phil Heidmas? They were all three inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2023. And when they got word of it, Jeff called me and said, "Bob, we are tremendously honored to be recognized like this." But I did a little search of athletes and important people from Cabrillo High School, and the name George Porter came up. I'm embarrassed that we are going to be inducted before him. So George has been nominated, and he's now a member of the Cabrillo Hall of Fame.
Might be mentioned, he set the national record 1 week, and the next week beat it.
Exactly. Our historian, Aaron Webster. To introduce our next inductee, please welcome Kelly Cardenas, a member of the class of 1993 and Hall of Fame winner last year. For what?
Side note, George, I've heard about you my entire life, and this is the first time I've got to see you, and it's amazing to be able to see a living legend in our midst. I grew up with what I saw as the greatest athlete on earth, which was my brother, and but all he talked about was you. And up until this time tonight, he's been talking about you and how much you deserve this. So it's an absolute honor to see you. Give it another round. Can you turn your eyes to all the kids who served all the dinners too? Because this was amazing. So some people have talent, some people have charisma, and there are those people who have what is simply called the it factor. This was my big brother Rob. You couldn't measure it. Not with his strength, not with his speed, and definitely not with his height. But you knew when you experienced it. If you were on his team, you believed victory was possible. No matter what the scoreboard said. If you were on the opposing team, no lead ever felt safe. I remember standing in the bleachers screaming during one of those final moments. The pressure would rise, and somehow everybody knew, get Rob the ball, Coach Haskins. The coaches knew it, the teammates knew it, and even the other team knew it. Looking back, I realized Rob's greatest gift wasn't scoring the winning points. It was speaking life into people. He made people believe they were capable of more than they thought was possible. And he still does that today in his family, who's here with us tonight, his business, and everyone he touches. For years, I thought that it factor was something you were born with. But now, I know it's revealed when you step into your purpose and speak life to others, like you have to me for my whole entire life. You taught me that words create worlds. The it factor was never about Rob, and what he could do. It was about what he made all of us believe we could do. And tonight, the Cabrillo High School Hall of Fame is finally recognizing what I've known my entire life. And that is why it is my absolute honor to welcome my big brother, my hero, Rob Cardenas, to the Cabrillo High School Hall of Fame. I know none of you asked this before, but I want all of you to stand to your feet, and I want you to applaud my brother because the things that he's done in his life, lifting everyone up around him, are really amazing. So give him a round of applause as he comes up this way. I give it up to this guy. That's kind of unfair because I have a professional speaker introduce me. Thank you, Kelly. I'm going to struggle to get through this one tonight. For your kind words. Ooh, for the incredibly humbling words. If I were even 10% of the man you believe I am, I'd be a pretty remarkable human being. I have not mastered the English language on a level that would allow me to really, truly express how grateful I am for this honor tonight. But more importantly, how grateful I am for the people that I get to share it with. Over the years, life has taught me something very simple. Our greatest accomplishments have far less to do with what we know than they do with who believed in us along the way. In simplest terms, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Every opportunity I've been given, every lesson I've learned, every success I've experienced, and every challenge I've overcome has been because someone believed in me, challenged me, encouraged me, loved me, or simply refused to give up on me. And no one believed in me more than my mom and dad. They gave me confidence long before I had reason to be confident. They believed in me long before I had accomplished anything worth celebrating. They taught me that character matters more than recognition, that hard work matters more than talent, and that the way you treat people will always matter most. This is one of the first milestones in my life where they weren't here to experience it. And I wish they were here because everything good in my life began with them. The older I've gotten, the more I've realized that no one gets here alone. Every meaningful chapter of my life has been written because someone invested in me. So with the few minutes that I have this evening, I'd like to simply honor, recognize, and thank some of those people. To my family, my teammates, my coaches, my teachers, my mentors, my friends, my staff back in Vegas, thank you. There are no words to express my appreciation and gratitude. Coach Haskins, I've had the opportunity over the years to express how much I appreciate you. But tonight, I wanted to take a moment to honor and recognize you, and to tell you, in a room full of your peers, friends, and colleagues, that I love, respect, and admire you. Stay strong. You pushed me, you challenged me, and most importantly, you believed in me. I'm the person I am today in part because of the opportunity you provided, the environment you cultivated, and the belief you demonstrated. The opportunity you gave changed the direction and trajectory of my life, and I'll never be able to thank you enough. Dale, thank you for showing me what quiet strength looks like. Your resilience, humility, loyalty, and unwavering love for your family have been an example I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. As a man, father, and husband, you have very few years. Thank you. I love you. Craig, thank you for your friendship, your support, and for being here tonight. The sacrifice you made to be here means the world to me. Taylor, thank you for taking a giant leap of faith with us, believing in our vision, and always trusting the process. You didn't just join a firm, you joined our family, and you helped build a law firm. I couldn't have asked for a better teammate. I'm proud of everything that we've built so far, but I'm even more proud of the man, the husband, and the leader you've become. Nate, you're more than my friend. You're my brother. Uncle Nate to my kids, or Drunkle Nate in certain social contexts. Your family. And there are only 4 people in this world I feel completely comfortable sharing my successes with. My wife, my brother, Uncle Will, who's not here tonight, and you. You've never viewed my success as your competition. You've celebrated every win as if it was your own. And I feel the same way about you. I love you beyond measure. All right, Kelly, thank you for not roasting me this evening. As honored as I am here standing this evening, those feelings pale in comparison to how I felt last year watching you. You've always been my little brother, but you've become one of my greatest role models. Your servant's heart, your love for people, and your humility inspire me every single day. Don't cry. Don't make me cry. Mom and Dad's legacy lives through you, and I hope in some small way through me as well. Every day I try to love people the way they love the people, serve others the way they taught us to serve, and leave the world just a little better than we found it. Keep loving people. Keep serving others, because the world needs more people like you. A couple months ago, I was privileged to come up here at the Cabrillo Scholarship Evening, and I made a comment that we're judged in part as parents by our children, and Mom and Dad did a pretty damn good job. Riley and Cameron, I'm not going to ask you to stand up, but if you can just kind of raise your hand for me a second. There we go. My beautiful children, when I look at the 2 of you, I see my legacy. If tonight is one of my greatest honors, being your dad will always be the greatest privilege of my life. People often measure success by titles, awards, accomplishments. I measure mine by the 2 of you. If I've done anything right in this life, it has been helping to raise 2 kind, compassionate, honorable human beings. You will always be my greatest achievement, and everything else, all of this, it's just stuff. I'm so very proud of you, and the love I have for you is incapable of being adequately described or measured. And finally, my beautiful wife, my rock, our foundation. None of this happens without you. When I didn't have the answers, you asked the right questions. When I didn't have the strength, you carried us. When I began to lose hope, you reminded me who I was. And in you, I found peace. Because of you, my life has turned out way, way better than I ever prayed for. When we met, I had little to offer,
Other than a positive attitude and a ton of resilience, I had a little bit more hair back then when I needed it. I read something recently that really resonated with me. When someone bets their life and their future on you, make sure they win. Well, Lulu, my life's purpose is to see you win. And somehow, together, we just keep winning, baby. I love you. I believe success is measured by the people we love, the lives we impact, and the way we make others feel. If one day my children can honestly say that their dad loved well, served others, kept his word, and left people better than he found them, then I'll consider myself and my life a success. And tonight, I simply wanted to recognize some of the people and the countless individuals who supported, believed, encouraged, and helped me along the way. Thank you very much.
To introduce our next inductee, a 1968 graduate and a Hall of Fame member also, Ray Moore.
I want to share with Ron, he brought his technology up, and I brought my technology up tonight. It's called a notepad with things written on paper. So back in the days for the youngsters in there, that's actually how we did it. It's my honor to introduce our next honored staff member. When Mel Wiley started the school, he had instant credibility because he hired a multi-championship baseball coach from the school downtown to be our head baseball coach.
Willie.
Then he got Everett Jones, and he got Bob Bradford, and he got Don McIntyre, and that covered football, track, and basketball. And then later on, it was Ed Knowles and Dave Long, and covered wrestling, and covered a lot of things for us. Well, Dick Wilson's 1966 varsity baseball team was the first varsity team in any sport at Cabrillo High School to beat the team from downtown. And they did it without seniors that year. And I must tell you that Dick Wilson was the guy that he taught us how to compete and refuse to lose. And if you did the little things right, the big things would take care of themselves. You didn't leave towels on the floor in the locker room. He made it painfully obvious to us that that wasn't the thing to do. Back in the 67 season, when we had seniors, we were playing at Arroyo Grande High School in a non-league game. And our pregame routine, infield and outfield and everything was not the way he expected. So he threw everybody off the field, had us run to the track, and we've debated whether we ran a mile or a half mile at that time. It seemed like forever, so I'm going to say it's a mile. And then we played the game. Now, he wasn't dumb. He was a pretty smart coach. He took our pitcher and he sat him in the dugout while we all ran, other than the pitcher. And the way the game ended was a 1-0 victory for Cabrillo, and Rick Simpson had a 2-hit shutout. And we always took a better pregame for the rest of our time. I don't know how it worked out the following years, but sometimes we were just glad to get out of there alive. So it's my pleasure to introduce our honored staff member for this year, and one of the two that encompass 30 plus years of baseball as the head coaches at Cabrillo High School. And he's going to do his acceptance from his just standing up right there, because he doesn't move as well as he did when he was in the Marine Corps. So we'd like to honor Coach Dick Wilson.
Don't tell me what to do. Okay. overwhelming situation. Thank you very much, Ray. Yeah. You gonna stand there all the time? How do I? I'm starting to get longer here. I'm gonna start out and kind of repeat one thing. First year of football, we played Longbow. In the afternoon, I talked to Coach Jones. He was the head coach. I said, "You got anything special?" He said, "No, we'll run that, and we'll pass here, and we'll screen here." And so I said, "Okay, go down the game. We beat 26 to what? 19. 19. Oh. You're one of the head coaches. I can't believe it. All right. Probably doesn't know. And he set the record in the league, CIF, state, and United States football. He carried the ball 65 times. That's a lot of times. There's his coach that made him do it, right here. Come on, Dave. Yeah. Congratulations, Bob. Did a great job. And we beat the head, not the head coach, one of the coaches from Longbow High came over, gave you the ball and said, "Well, you had it all night, and I was take it home, put it in your trophy case." You still got it there, Bob?
No, it's over here in this room.
Okay. Well, I gotta move on to one more sport, and basketball, right here. Well, I'd say about 2 years ago when I was in high school. I was playing basketball. We were playing Shasta High out of Reading, and I'm from Chico, 2 Northern California schools. Whoever wins the league goes down and plays big boys in San Francisco. All right, let's move on about 3 years. There was myself and 3 guys in the car. We went up to Reading, remember that's where Shasta High is, to watch Fats Donovan sing, do his show. On the way home, we got in an argument. Nope, we weren't drinking, we just got in an argument. How long is that white line on the road? 4 feet, 8, 10. So we'll stop the damn car and find out. We were 6 foot, yeah, we had a 6 foot. We laid him down on the white line, and guess what was right behind us? 2 red lights. CHP. He comes up, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "I tried to tell him not to do all this stupid stuff." So he says, "I want to see some IDs." But getting back to basketball, so it fills in. Shasta's ahead by 1 point. 3 seconds ago, and the ball rolls to me, and I'm at half court. I don't have time to dribble. I don't have time to set shots. I just took the ball and said, "Shit, it's over." And the thing went in. And we won. Yay! Here's this CHP chewing us out. I sat next to him and said, "You're right, you're right. That guy chewed that." Says, "Okay, I want to see some ID." Got the ID. He says, "All right, you guys get going." Get in the car. He says, "Which one's Wilson?" I said, "I am." He says, "That's the luckiest damn shot I've ever seen." I don't know if he was an ex-player or if he was a spectator. I said, "Let's get the hell out of here." One last thing, I'd like to introduce my lady friend, Cheryl McLean. She was the outstanding athlete in volleyball and softball. And she just wanted me to make this announcement. That we've been a couple ever since she's been 15 years old. I always tell true stories. There's a lot of talking about it. Okay. Come on, you're next. All right, thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. In 1993, we got a new baseball coach. And I know it was 1993 because my son was a senior when Coach Osborne arrived here for the first time. And it was a good introduction to Cabrillo High School when Mr. Osborne arrived. I was asked to, for the next 20 years or so, John continued, as most of you know, I was an aquatics coach. And but John kept coming to me and saying, get off the pool deck and come help me with baseball. And I did for a couple of years and had a great time coaching with Coach Osborne. I was asked to introduce John this evening, but one of the highlights of my life was when I was inducted a few years back and my two sons introduced me. So to introduce Coach Osborne, his son, our baseball coach now, Cole Osborne, will do the introduction.
As some of you may know, my dad is type A, and is a little bit of a control freak in some ways. Yesterday, he spent a lot of time apologizing because he got to introduce his dad into the Hall of Fame, and he didn't know that they were going to do a whole introduction thing, and that he wishes he would have asked for me to do it. And I went right along with the lie of everyone that I was not going to be the one speaking. So he has been a little extra uptight, so apologies if he was complaining. When I think about my dad and his career and the Osborne legacy, I always think of Billy Graham's quote on coaches, which says, "A coach will impact more people in 1 year than the average person will in an entire lifetime." It's easy to speak on the wins, league championships, CIF games that my dad has coached. You guys can all read that in the program. To me, it's important to talk about the things that are important to me about my dad. He has changed so many lives, taught boys how to be men, and given players opportunities to grow on and off the field. Growing up here in Lompoc, going to Cabrillo, playing for my dad, I had the privilege to see behind the scenes of his success. What stood out most to me is how hard my dad has worked. When he took over here at Cabrillo, there was pretty much just a baseball field down there. Over the years, he turned our field into a facility coveted by many. We receive a lot of compliments from other coaches about how great our facilities are. That is all from him and his resources and the hard work over the years to build a beautiful facility. As a coach's kid, there were a lot of days I didn't see my dad teach all day, go to practice, go to games. One thing that he was always great about, was coming home and making sure to be present. He'd come home and we'd play baseball in the backyard. He made sure every night to kiss me goodnight or to check in on me. He would balance the time of making phone calls to the newspaper, talking with other coaches, the CIF reps, the hopes that we can get some better seating in the playoffs. But most importantly, he made time for our family after games, no matter how late he got home. Being a baseball player, during Little League, he missed a lot of games. But he would make it when he could. There was one game that he was there, and I happened to hit a home run, and a parent of the opposing team said that that home run only went out because of the wind. He had some choice words. And probably why he spent the remainder of the games not near crowds. Over the years, I've learned so much about how to be a coach, a husband, a father, and most importantly, how to work hard for my dad. I learned that working hard and doing what's necessary to take care of the world's coaches balance teaching, coaching, and family. My freshman year, I was frustrated because I would see crazy health teacher dad. I would see high expectations, type A baseball coach dad. And at home, he was just dad. I was frustrated because of the amount of questions I'd get from my peers. Is your dad always this crazy? Is your dad grumpy when he gets home after we lose? I asked him one day, Dad, why are you so different in class, at the field, and at home? Why can't you just be the same? He said, I have 3 different worlds. I'm me when I'm home, to protect our family from the other ones. Now, being in his shoes, I get to see what that's like. I'm a little bit less crazy in the health classroom. In our community, you can find old newspaper clippings, talk to past teachers, past players, on how much my dad was and is a hard ass as a coach. But things can change. I have 2 sons, and they know my dad is Pepe. And one of my favorite things after taking over here at Cabrillo for him is that I had the hardest time not calling him Pepe at practice. One day I slipped and said something about Coach Pepe. And I looked at him and apologized. No, I love it. He openly accepts and loves that he's no longer Coach Osborne, but now Coach Pepe. He's getting soft with old age. Pepe, you have made a huge impact. Lives changed, creating a roadmap of success for many, myself included. Many wins, and an old hard ass softening because of grandchildren. It's my honor to introduce Coach Pepe.
Quite honestly, I thought half of you people would be asleep by the time I got up here, because you see a lot of gray hair out there. But anyways, thank you very much, Coach Lawrence. You tricked me. Coach Moore, you tricked me too. I was thinking, man, I'm going to mess up here in my life and not be able to have my son introduce me into the only Hall of Fame that I would ever be in. Because my credentials that I have are not close to a lot of these other people, but I'm truly honored to be a member of Cabrillo High School Alumni Association Hall of Fame. Honestly, I didn't think there would be anything that I really would have done in my career as a teacher here at Cabrillo or a coach here at Cabrillo that would warrant that. In honesty, the only reason that I was able to coach baseball here for 26 years is because nobody else wanted to coach baseball here. Except for my son Cole, so I'm so thankful he's doing that. Anyways, thank you. I'd like to thank my wife Nina. When I was going over my speech, she said, please don't talk about me. Please don't talk about me. People don't want to hear about me. I can tell you that wrong. They don't want to hear from me. They want to hear from you. Anyways, 33 years of being a coach's wife is not easy. And if there was a Hall of Fame for coach's wife, she'd be the first one in that. I love her. I'd like to thank my daughter Lizzie, 2003 graduate from Cabrillo High School, and her husband Tim, their 2 kids, Pontius and Thaddeus. So thankful that you guys could be here. I love you, Lizzie. Love you, Tim. And one little note is that today was the first day the teachers went back to school, and I didn't have to go. You've already heard from Cole. Thank you, Cole. 2013 graduate, his lovely wife Blair, their 2 kids, Dax, Willard, and Bowden Rex. My dad, John,
John Willard Osborne always said, I wish one of you would name your son after me, Willard. And, you know, it was raised as he was going to have the first baby, Cole and Blair one, Dax Willard named after my dad, so that's kind of cool. I'd like to thank my dad, John Osborne, and his wife, Marty. They traveled all the way from St. George, Utah to be here, 10-hour drive to be here. Appreciate that. My dad's the greatest baseball man that I know, and I'm so thankful that he taught me how to be a baseball coach, how to run practices, how to do all the things that a baseball coach has to do, because when I first came here, honestly, I didn't know how to do all that stuff. I thought I did, but wasn't even close. He was sure quick to be able to evaluate my ability on the field and didn't have a hard time telling me, hey, maybe you should have done this, maybe you should have done that. Thanks, and yeah, maybe I should have, maybe I would have won 700 games too, but I don't know, something, whatever it is. Anyway, Bob, thank you for coming. 7 in the morning, love you guys. My brother-in-law, Stephen Gilbert, and his wife, Cindy, they traveled all the way from Buckeye, Arizona. Long trip for them too. They took me in 35 years ago when I was first dating Nina, and they treated me as if I was a brother to them, and I just truly appreciate their friendship and their love and being, accepted in their family, and I love you guys, thank you. Darren Hull, his wife Lonnie couldn't be here. Digby's been a great family friend since the 70s. His dad, Bert Holt, longtime baseball coach at College of the Sequoias in Visalia, and my dad at Hancock for 25 years. Lots of games against each other, and our friendship grew from then and continues today. Cole said about the facility, honestly, our facility wouldn't be as good as it was if it wasn't for Digby. He's the greatest facility keeper that I know. Digby, I love you, thank you for being here. I always considered you my brother, but my older brother. Some friends that couldn't be here, Greg and Cindy Eisen, longtime friends. They were here with me at the beginning, and just great family friends to my family, my wife Nina, and our 2 kids, and we're just so thankful to have them as a part of our family. I wish they were here, but they had some other things going on, but I really appreciate them. I'd like to thank the athletic directors that hung in there with me all those years. First and foremost, Don McIntyre, who hired me back in 1993, and I'm not sure he knew what he was getting himself into. I'm sure he called me into his office a few times and sometimes told me with some words that maybe educators shouldn't be saying to other educators because behind closed doors. And then he'd go buy me a cup of coffee. I don't know if you guys remember, but they used to have these like vending machines that had like coffee and hot chocolate and like soup. And he'd give me a cup of coffee out of that vending machine. I don't think it was coffee, but he drank it, so I drank it. I wanted to make sure I was on his good side. But thank you, Mr. Mack. Bob Boyer, who was there for a long time as athletic director, we sure miss Bob. I think Bob Lawrence was there for a couple of years, kind of filling in the gap there. Dan Troop hung in there for a long time. You know it's a formal event when Dan Troop is wearing pants, because he always wears shorts. So you know it's a formal event. Troop, wherever you are, I can't see you out there, but thank you, appreciate that. And current athletic director, Derek Long, thank you. If you guys think you had it hard, just having me for a few years around in the office, that's where Nina needs that Hall of Fame. She's been around 33 years, and she should get the accolades for that. I know I wasn't going to talk about you, but only a couple things, okay? She's about this. Assistant coaches, all of us coaches know that we're not going to be as good as we could be without the great assistant coaches, and I was blessed to have some really good assistant coaches there in the middle for 10, 15 years. The same guys kept coming back time and again. I'm not exactly sure why, but I think it was because of the kids. They loved the kids, and they put up with me for a while. Buck Sharp, Tom Harmon, Brian Murphy, Bill Weber even came back to help out. Appreciate that, Bill. Shane Gallimore, and Buck Brockett's back there somewhere. Sometimes it's hard to see Buck. He's a little challenged height-wise, but hey, Bucky, thank you. Appreciate that. Also, my son Cole helped as an assistant coach starting in 2014. So blessed that the athletic administration hired him to take over for me in 2020. Even more excited that he actually asked me to be an assistant. And there were lots of times when people would say, man, your son's a really good coach, you guys have really good teams. And I said, yeah, as long as I stay the hell out of the way, then we're usually pretty good. So if I get out of the way, let him take over. He does a really good job. Thank you, Cole. In conclusion, Again, thanks to my lovely wife Nina and my family, all of you representing me here today. I can't thank you all enough for being here and traveling all the distances that you did travel. And again, to the Hall of Fame committee, Ray Moore and Bill Weber for nominating me to be a part of this thing. Again, you guys, I never thought that I would ever do anything that would get me to a position to be able to have my name on the wall. And I'm so happy and truly humbled and thankful so much. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Before we get to our final inductees, just a couple thank yous. One, Dan Petry for being our videographer. To Sierra Troop, who put together the program, this beautiful program in front of you. That's Dan Troop's daughter. Our Alumni Association point man, Dan Troop. The Cabrillo Alumni Association, Susan Morrison. And you can certainly become a member of the Alumni Association this evening. And the CHS Aquarium Club and Advisors for hosting this event. And Ray has asked me to request that all of the inductees please come up to the front of to the stage immediately after so we can take a group picture. And to recognize honored members and advisors of the Tierra Royale Yearbook, please welcome Dan Troop, class of 1978 and 2024 Hall of Fame member.
Thank you. First of all, thank you everyone for being here tonight. It's a really lovely night. We look forward to it. I want to thank Ray Moore. He's the spearhead. He motivates me to get on it as well. So thank you, Ray. I appreciate you very much. What you've done to keep this going, and get it going is very, very thankful. I'm going to really have to keep this short because I need to get these pants back. They're ripped. Actually, I have a little different role because I'm an introducer of an introducer. So I'm going to introduce a gentleman who's been at this school for 33 years. He began in 1993 with Petry, and he's been a graphic arts teacher. He is an artist. He's a wonderful teacher. He's a wonderful man. He was the yearbook advisor for 21 years and did a phenomenal job. Mr. Scott Shaw.
Thanks. So Dan calls me up this summer and he says, hey, just say a few words about the yearbook. He didn't tell me I'd be the last one speaking after all of you, all of the wonderful things I heard tonight. About an inanimate object that doesn't have a history or anything to say. I thought I'd just get in here and wing it and be done. He even told me, you're going to be first up. I got all mine. Thanks, Dan. The yearbook. As the advisor for 21 years, produced a lot of yearbooks. The average for a teacher doing it is 7 years. In that time, one thing that I realized as the advisor is that a yearbook isn't just a book. It's the continuity and the connective tissue of all of you. It's your stories. It's everything about you. It's the record of you. Your friends nominate you. You get up here and you say your speeches. I wasn't here when most of you were here, and I've been here for 33 years.
Yep.
But any student at Cabrillo, any given year, can find out about you in the yearbook. It is the history. It is the place where everything resides. A lot of effort's put into it. Many people that will never see this stage still have a place at Cabrillo because they're in that yearbook. In my 21 years, we tried to make sure every student was in that book at one point or another, so they left a mark. That they weren't just a transient person who came into this place for 4 years and walked out. That there's a lasting record. And really, I think that's probably the only reason why you would induct this, into your Hall of Fame, is that the fact that it is the record of you guys. I don't have much more to say. I thank all of you. In my time, we did four books where we did the history of Cabrillo as the theme of the yearbook, including the last one that I produced. And I'm looking through this, program, and I'm saying, oh yeah, there's those pictures. I've seen all these multiple times. And yet, it's still amazing. And I always hear and wonder about, what the real stories were. And I got to hear a few of them tonight. And it's pretty fantastic. I'd like to thank all of you for what you did to provide a story and a place for those books. Because without it, it'd just be a bunch of pictures. It's your history that makes them living and keeps it going and makes them valuable. So thank you. I'm done.
Folks, you can imagine we have a list of the first 3 yearbook staffs in the program. And being military dependents, about 90% at that time, they're all over the world.
Yep.
We have 3 here tonight for us that we'd like to honor. First is the class of 67, Mr. Bill Garner. Bill is joining us. He flew in from Houston, Texas, where he's a corporate lawyer for a lot of people. The next is Carlina Lee Duran. And Carlina, if you'll notice, she was responsible for the artwork on the original centerpiece Conquistador in the gym. And there's a picture I think in the program. Carlina has joined us. She was away for a long time and then moved back to Lompoc and now is back home where she belongs. And our third member of the yearbook staff from Northern California is Patty Reddy McFall. And now we'd like to honor this year's yearbook staff.
Ray, there's another member of that yearbook staff here from back then.
Okay, that's great. Neglecting the emails that I sent to be able to RSVP, meaning tell us you're going to be here if you're going to be here. Come on up. Is it Cliff?
Come on, Cliff.
Come on up. What's in the letter?
You weren't involved with the yearbook?
This year's staff, I'd like to introduce the advisor, Ms. Kendall Lopez. And our 3 editors for the 25-26 yearbook, Samantha Carey, Blanca Figueroa, and Samantha Garza. They say that the most read book in the world is the Bible. The second most read book is the high school yearbook by all the people and all the years that go by. So what they do is very valuable for us, and we certainly appreciate it. And congratulations to everybody. Thank you very much.
inductees this evening come forward to have a picture at the end of the evening. I want to thank everyone again for your travels and the sacrifices that you made to be here. This is a special evening with a bunch of special people. It's an incredible school that we have here, and I want to thank all of you for being here. Again, safe travels, and we'll see you next year.
All right. On the count of 3, Dallas Cowboys! Woo-hoo-hoo! All right. Is that all of it now? What about Coach Osborne? Coach Wilson? Coach Osborne, Coach Wilson. We got some more people. We got Coach Osborne to get over here. Good job, Coach. Coach Osborne. All right, is that everybody now? Is that everybody? All the inductees? Norma. Let me get right here. Yeah, let's get it. I haven't got it yet. All right, everybody, once again, 1, 2, 3. Dallas Cowboys! Woo-hoo-hoo! All right, I think I got it. All right, everybody, this is Dan Petry Showcase. And I'm a proud 1977 graduate of Cabrillo High School. And that was the 2026 Cabrillo Hall of Fame inductees. Peace, America, and the world. Good job by the association, Ray Moore, and everybody. Peace, America, and the world. Enjoy.